Being the leader of the free world is one of the most challenging jobs on Earth. So how on earth do presidents prepare? It's an enormous task to get ready to serve as President of the United States. For a president to walk through the White House doors and start presiding over national affairs takes months of planning and groundwork in advance. Yet, a newly elected president has only about 75 days from Election Day until Inauguration Day arrives. And that very afternoon, that leader starts running the largest and most complex organization in the world, the U.S. government. If the sitting president wins another term, the upheaval isn't as dramatic, but the commander-in-chief is still inundated with work, handling personnel changes, crafting second-term agendas, and possibly changing course based on first-term results and lessons learned. 75 days is not enough time to prepare for this level of responsibility. There's too much at stake. That's why candidates must get ready to govern even as they campaign, giving them the best odds of hitting the ground running when their term begins. To paint a picture of how enormous the job is, presidents oversee a budget of about $6 trillion, and they manage an organization that employs more than 2 million civilians and another 2 million military and reserve forces. A new president also must appoint more than 4,000 people. Even a second-term president typically has a lot of hiring to do. The past 3 presidents who were re-elected to office saw scores of trusted first-term advisors headed for the exits during the first 6 months of the new term, leaving vacancies that needed to be filled. The intricacies involved in running the country make it plain that it's vital for presidential candidates to start transition planning early, no later than spring of an election year, to be ready to govern on day one. An essential first step is putting together a transition team that can organize the fundamentals involved in running the country, planning policy, creating a management agenda, and vetting people for top administration jobs. Fortunately, assistance is available. Once the Republican and Democratic political conventions are over, major candidates from both parties have access to federal funding, office space, and administrative support. The Partnership Center for Presidential Transition also can help transition teams, incumbent presidents, and federal agency leaders prepare. Candidates and transition teams are not the only ones with work to do. The White House and federal agency officials also have a responsibility to help the nation move efficiently through this challenging shift of power at the top. For example, they must have succession plans by September 15th in anticipation of hundreds of officials leaving. Inauguration Day marks the beginning of a new term, but not the end of the transition. Presidents continue to staff up and set their agenda well into the first 100 days. All these transition activities help the nation achieve a smooth and peaceful transfer of power, long a hallmark of American democracy. To learn more, visit presidentialtransition.org.